Hello. My movie of choice is Valdez is Coming, written by Elmore Leonard, and it was made into a movie. It's a Western, and I love it. It's about a Mexican who's a constable, a black man who was accused of murder, his Apache pregnant wife, and a white man who accused him of murder. So they hunted this black man down to his cabin, and they were on a ridge, and it had this carnival atmosphere. They were selling food and drinks, and they had children and women on the ridge watching and anticipating what was going to happen. So in comes Valdez. He's a constable, but he's a constable in the Mexican part of town. He has no authority over the white folks. So when he shows up, he took it upon himself to go down to the cabin to talk to the black man to try to get him to come out. And when he talked to the black man, his name was Rincon, but they called him Johnson. Who knows why? And Rincon said he was innocent. He didn't do it. That he had papers in his wagon to where he was in the service in the army when the murder took place. So Valdez said he would go to his wagon and get the papers. But before he could get to the wagon, the people on the ridge, the men on the ridge, started shooting at the cabin. The black man, Rincon, thought Valdez had double crossed him. So he shot at Valdez. Valdez shot and killed him. And after he died, Valdez buried him, took his wife, who was pregnant, and the Apache woman, and took her to his friend Diego and asked could she stay here until I come back. So he went to Tanner 3 times asking for help. He also went to the other men that were on the ridge, and they were, the men in authority were white, naturally. So he asked them for help also. But they told him that if you get Tanner to give 100, we'll give 100. So he went to Tanner, and Tanner turned him down. First time he shot at him and ran him off. The second time they nailed a cross to his back and sent him in the desert and ran him off. The third time Tanner went at night. Um, Not Tanner, my bad. Valdez went at night to Tanner's compound and kidnapped the dead man's wife, who was living with Mr. Tanner at the time. Her name was Gay. And before he could get away, they started shooting at him. He got away, but he took Gay with him. That's his intentions were not to take her, but he was caught in the crossfire. So he took her, he kidnapped her, took her to the desert. Naturally, Tanner and his posse followed, and in the ensuing process, Valdez shot and killed 11 of Tanner men with this buffalo gun that he had. He had this huge gun that could shoot 1,000 yards away. So eventually they did catch up with Valdez and Gay. And when they did, Gay said that she didn't want to go back with Tanner. She wanted to stay with Valdez because they had made a connection and a friendship by then. When Tanner heard this, he ordered his men to kill them both. The men wouldn't. They said, "That's your woman. You handle it." And Valdez told him, "Mr. Tanner, you have a gun in your holster. You shoot me." But Tanner seemed afraid to. He didn't want to draw on her, and you can't blame him. So he hesitated, and when he didn't draw, Valdez asked him again for the $100, and that's the way the movie ended. But the best line in the movie to me was when Valdez said, the posse had asked him, "What kind of gun is that you're using, that you use to pick off our men?" And he said, "It's when I was in the cavalry." And they asked him, "Did you use it to hunt buffalo?" He said, "No, I used it to hunt Apache." But he said, "That was before I knew better." So when he said that, it kind of resonated with me that he learned that shooting human beings was more difficult than shooting buffalo. And I think that's why he went over and above to help this pregnant Apache woman, because he had some kind of remorse in him from the time when he was in the cavalry. But that's the way the movie ended. Valdez, they didn't tell if he got the $100 or not, but he never stopped until the end.